What's this been like? You go from playing, like, normally you're used to playing games all the time. You've had such a kind of a stop-and-go schedule. How tough has it been for you guys as a team and for you personally to kind of get into the flow when you haven't had games?
Yeah, it's kind of rough. As a player, like, you're used to, like, getting your flow within the middle of the season. And I feel like us coming off our first Nova game, we were kind of like, felt like we had it going. And then as, like, we came out of the break and then played Nova again, you kind of see the way that it kind of impacts us as a team because we were kind of all gelling together, having a good little stretch of where we're playing our best brand of basketball. But, I mean, I feel like we can get back to what we were doing before the break, then I feel like we'll be good. But, I mean, it's just kind of rough adjustment, but I guess it's what everybody has to go through. So, I mean.
Was it rougher because you came off the performance that you did this last time? I mean, you had a lot of time to dwell on, or do you flush it and you just move on, or what do you learn from it?
Yeah, you definitely have to flush it and move on. I mean, it's college basketball. You never know. One night could be one team's night. The next night, it cannot be your night. So just at the end of the day, with losses like that, you have to have a short-term memory and be able to just get back and be able to lock back in for the next game because in the Big East, you play team after team, Nova, and then Providence, and then Xavier. So, I mean, we just have to let it go and then be able to get adjusted and be able to not make the same mistake again next time that we play them, and then just be able to move on to the next one.
What did you learn? With that said, what did you learn?
We definitely learned that there's some places where we can move the ball. I mean, we're kind of young, so I feel like there's places where people are kind of getting stagnant. We're not really moving the ball as much as we hope so. And then, of course, on defense, like, we're letting them play harder than us, be more physical than us. And I'm pretty sure that was their game plan coming into the game, was trying to be out-physical us because, like, we have some young guys and guys that haven't really been as experienced as their team that they have. So I feel like as long as we can just handle the controllables, I feel like that's what kind of hurt us because we did what we had to do in the first game. We didn't let them. We rebounded the ball well on offense and on defense, and then that game they kind of beat us on the boards and things like that. So just things that are very controllable. I feel like we just have to adjust this next time.
What did you learn about the difference between playing here and playing on the road?
Here, we have our crowd. Our crowd gets us going. Like, we hit a shot, we feel like we can go on a run at any time in our gym, and then you have energy that you feed off of from the crowd. When you're on the road, you have to feed off your own teammates, have to feed off your own success, and I feel like that's the biggest difference between being here and being on the road.
What do you remember about? It's been a bit,
a
minute here, but when you guys played Villanova, this place was full and loud. And,
Any
moments of that game stick out to you?
Yeah, definitely. I remember not even like me making the shot, but I remember Rati came down at the end of the game, down on the other end of the court, and then like he made like a very deep three, and then it got like the loudest I've ever heard it before. Like we went on our run against Villanova, and it was super loud in here. Like we couldn't even hear Coach Mack calling out plays or anything like that, but. Yeah, it was just great. I can't wait to get back into CHI and then be able to play in front of the best fans in the country.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you now that you've gotten a little taste of Big East basketball and adjusting to the role? It's probably different than what you did in high school. What's been the biggest challenge and learning lesson that you take?
Definitely. I feel like kind of situation that most guys have to go through when they play in a lot in their career early in college. I feel like you have to learn where to pick your spots. Like you have to pick your spots when you can be aggressive, when you have to move the ball, when you have to shoot that shot, or where you have to take a shot like that. And it's kind of been the hardest adjustment for me because I feel like my role in this team is to kind of like make plays and play defense. And so, like, some plays, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit the open guy. And then some plays it's kind of like I have to create for my own shot. And then on the other end, I have to play defense, sometimes guard the best player or the second best player, depending on what it is. But I would just say the biggest adjustment for me is kind of picking my spots on when I can do what I have to do, if that makes sense.
Providence is a pretty busy team, too. How do you just prepare yourself for what that's going to feel like after what it was like?
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things like where, first off, we have to be able to control what we can, and that's us rebounding the ball, being able to box out things of that sort. They have some pretty big and physical guys. They like to get it inside, and I feel like we have a great defensive team that's going to be able to adjust to what they have going on, and our game plan is pretty good for Providence. feel like us shrinking the court would be able to help us in a big way. And I feel like Big Ryan coming back from his ankle injury is going to play a big part in him being able to block shots and things of that sort. Kind of something we didn't really get to experience in the Nova game, and I feel like that's what kind of hurt us a lot too, is him not being 100%. And I just feel like him coming back is going to be a big difference.
What did you take away from the film session after Nova?
Probably a lot of things. There was not a single thing that led us to losing the game for sure. There were many aspects of it. I think us not really preparing for it as hard as we should have. I don't think we underestimated the team because everyone knows what Nova can do. It's just we were not tough enough, and then for them, obviously, they lost the game by like 20 here. They came out to win by a lot. Like you could see it, even when they were like up by 30, they were not stopping. Like they were still playing. So there's just many things that like I cannot be saying everything because it's like a long list. But obviously we realized what our problems was, and starting with toughness and being more like ready for a battle, not just a random game that we will go through and just win or lose by like little, So many things.
You guys have mentioned preparation as like being the reason for the result in wins and losses. Like, do you know what that? I guess how to simulate that better? Prepare yourselves the best you can for the kind of physicality.
I think it goes to the. I don't want to blame that, but I think it goes to the same thing as of us being super young. And like when you have a bunch of seniors and juniors, it means that they've been there many times for like last 3 or 4 years, and they know exactly what they're doing. In our situation, a lot of us, it's our like first season, let's call it like this. Even for me, like I'm a sophomore, I haven't played last year. I think those things lead to it. Like you don't really know what to expect. And you were like preparing, you think that it'd be the same game it was here, but it's not, because they're coming with a different like mentality, different poise to the game. And I think that we'll be changing those little things, but next year it'll be way better, I'm pretty sure.
Right, what's it going to be like to finally play a home game? It seems like that for rappers, you guys have to be excited about that.
I was just thinking about it. I was changing in the locker. It felt like eternity. Like I haven't been here for a minute. Like damn, like it'd be good. And obviously, like I like playing with this crowd. I'm pretty sure all the boys love it too. And it's super cool. Like you make a big shot or you do something good, like get a defensive stop, and like everyone is cheering you up. And like you have to. Like I think that we have to learn how to feed off the crowd even better than we are doing right now, because this crowd is unbelievable and it helps a lot.
Talk about the process. Home court, crowds. Do you see it in the other team to go for the killer, or does it more affect you guys first? You know what I'm talking about? When you see a team start to be affected by your crowd,
Yes.
you kind of go for the kill.
It also depends when it is, because maybe you get that like in first 2 minutes and going for a kill like is super hard, I would say. But I think it's like it goes two ways. Like you are going for a kill, and at the same time like the other team is feeling it. And like not only you being on a run or something, it's like the crowd and them being alone. And I think that's what we do like really good job of, like combination of fans like having a super big part of it, like you cannot just, someone cannot just yell, yeah, 3-pointer, you don't kill it, that's not it, you know what I mean? Like it's a continuous thing, and like I feel that like sometimes we have good runs like late in like second half, and that's like when you want to kill it. It's not always super easy, but we try to do that all the time.
Do one more for
What have you seen on film maybe about areas to get your offensive flow back when teams are trying to stuff you guys, break your rhythm in the ball exchange, be really physical? How do you guys get that back?
Well, for us players, like for example what Nova did, like the press and stopping the run and stuff like that, like we know how to score on a fast break. I don't think we shoot as good as like the last year's team was shooting, so we cannot just start shooting threes right away, but like we have a good ball movement when we run, and I believe that we just have to true to what we've been doing all this time. Because if it worked like 6 times and didn't work 1 time, it means they can work. So I think that we have to go to fundamentals, and what we do is to run to the corners and, for the point guard to stay in the middle of the court and just keep doing what we've been doing, and I'm pretty sure it will work.
Zach, it's been kind of a weird stretch for you, because a couple games, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or whatever. Now you got a big stretch coming up. How nice is it for a young team like yours to finally get to play some games consistently?
Well, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Let's hope that happens. It's strange. We haven't been in this building since the Villanova game, so it's been a long stretch. And obviously, you'd like to be able to capture the momentum that came with that game, and we were not able to because we went on a long break. And those breaks are difficult. I think they're difficult for teams that are going through them, obviously, but they're equally difficult for teams that are healthy and could be playing and can't play. And that was a challenge for our guys, and hopefully we've moved past that. But this is a tough stretch starting at Villanova. Obviously, knew this 3-game stretch was going to be very difficult. And Providence is certainly, they're playing at a high level, and they've got some great wins on their resume, and they've earned that high ranking that they have.
You're usually pretty meticulous about looking back before you move forward. I'm wondering if, the days after Nova, your perspective on that game changed at all as you watched it again.
We just got popped. It happens in sports sometimes, and you hope that when you catch a game where you're not at your best, that the other team isn't at their best. And we caught Nova on a really good night for them, and it was a really poor night for us. And obviously they had a lot to do with that. It was really the first time this year I felt like we've got a lot of young kids out here competing with men, and that's what I felt like that game. They turned it into a physical wrestling match, and we didn't respond to that very well.
Was there any slippage habitually for you guys that you noticed in that game that you back to this week?
Yeah, we're not where we were when we played Villanova. We were playing really well at that point, and we haven't been able to kind of capture that. Part of it is just the lack of going up and down and live reps, and as we play more games, that'll get better, I think. It's kind of watch that Villanova game, and then you just kind of throw it away, and not watch it again. Like, it just those things happen once in a while. You hope they don't happen very often.
That said, though, just talking to a couple of you guys, you still reviewed it and tried to take away the good, the bad, what you could. The process didn't change, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, there weren't very many good offensive possessions to take away from that. Defensively, there were times where we were in the right spot and we had some good fight, and they scored a shot over top of us. But it was one of those games when they got an offensive rebound, they usually made us pay for it. If we fouled them, they made the free throws. So really everything that we set out to do going in, winning the battle of the boards, winning the battle at the free throw line and the three-point line, we lost all 3. And against Villanova, you're not winning if you do that.
What's most impressive about Providence? What's most impressive?
I think it's probably been their consistency. I think they've got there aren't many teams in the country that make it a point to throw it inside. And with Watson in there, Ed makes it a point to make sure that he's part of what they do, whether they're getting something on the perimeter or not. It's because people are trying to squeeze the floor to try to keep it out of Nate Watson's hands. So they're still physical and tough defensively. They foul you about every play and dare referees to make a foul call every play, and then they got to deal with the wrath of Ed if they do. So it's they're a really good basketball team. You don't win at Wisconsin and beat Villanova and win against Seton Hall unless you're really talented. And this is an old, experienced, talented group.
Can you guys throw game away last week too, or is that part of what this is?
Yeah, I hope so. We knew at the start there was going to be some peaks and valleys in this season, and probably hasn't been as many bumps in the road as maybe I would have anticipated, and certainly that was one. But whether you lose by 1 or lose by 40, it's a loss. You learn from it, you scrap it, and you try to move on. And we haven't shot the ball very well, especially the last couple games, and we're going to have to get back to that if we want to be successful.
We talked to Trey before about his role and adjusting to the content. He's think a challenge for a guy like Trey that's like getting started, going in and playing well when he doesn't?
Well, the reality of it is there aren't many freshmen playing in the country. Because of the COVID extra years, it's really hard, especially at our level, for freshmen to get on the floor. And we're playing 3 of them and playing them. And I guess if you count Rati, we're playing 4 a lot. But Trey's done a great job. He's really embraced what we've asked him to do. Defensively, he's caught on as quickly as any freshman I think that I've coached at my time at Creighton. You compare him even to Kyrie. Kyrie was a little bit of a train wreck as a freshman defensively, and then the light came on, and he was terrific. And Trey's really embraced that, done a good job. And then offensively, he just kind of stays in his lane. He shoots open shots, breaks down the defense, makes good reads in ball screen situations. So he's been everything we could have hoped for and more, and he's really impacting our team in a positive way as a freshman.
Greg, in athletics, a lot of times you hear stay an even keel and don't let the lows hit you too bad or you can't ride the highs. You model that pretty well, and you've talked about it to be an example for this team. I wonder, did you pick up on that to where you felt like you were truly living it, as a coach? And maybe who'd you try to model that?
I just think as you get older and you've done it long enough, the reality of it is whether we want it or not, this generation of young people, they move on from whatever happens pretty fast. That's just how they're wired. And I think as a coaching staff, if you expect them to stay calm and stay in the moment and talk about the next play and don't worry about the last play, then you as a coach and your coaching staff has to react in a similar way because they're looking to you for counsel and advice. So, you can't lose your mind in a tense situation. And now, if we're losing games because it's effort-based or communication-based or things that we can totally control, that's a different thing. If you're not working hard enough, like I've got the capability of waking you up a little bit if I need to. But if they're fundamental mistakes and they're mistakes that are part of the growth process, you kind of have to step back and understand that that's part of it. That's part of growing. That's part of developing. That's part of getting better. And as you get into conference play, you're not getting those easy baskets you can steal in non-conference play. Everybody knows each other too well. We know each other's pet plays. They just don't work. So you're going to have to go to your second and third option oftentimes to be effective offensively. So I don't know. I just think as you get old, you calm down a little bit. I mean, Ash Chattel, like you wonder if he's got a pulse most of the time. You just get old. You get over things pretty fast.
Off of that, though,
Last one.
Go ahead.
Off of that, though, when you see teams start to just break your rhythm or throw different curveballs at you defensively, what have you seen as maybe some areas this team can do differently to counter that and still get some effective stuff offensively accomplished?
Well, the easy answer to that is a year in the weight room with Jeremy Anderson. I mean, that's the easy answer because our bodies are just different, and that physicality has taken us out of some things, and it sometimes it hurts your vision, because you're so worried about they're on me, I don't want to lose the basketball. So now you're not making the read that you should probably be making. So I think the thing we have to get better at is just playing through that physicality and understanding that, don't look at me in practice and want to whistle for a foul, because I can't have you stop and look at a referee in a game and want to whistle for a foul. It's the Big East. It's physical. Fouls are down. I just read an article today. They're at the lowest level again. So they just aren't calling fouls. So you have to figure out a way to play through it. And, we're going to have to get physically stronger, but with that comes some of the mental toughness that comes with that. And hopefully we can correct that as we're working on our bodies to get